all possible options are on the table in terms of how the West might respond.
Here's ABC's Ike Ajachi.
A paramilitary group incorporated into Ukraine's National Guard accuses Russian forces of using a drone to drop a poisonous substance in the city of Mariupol. A Pentagon spokesperson writing in a statement, these reports, if true, are deeply concerning.
The mayor of Mariupol says tens of thousands of people in his city have been killed in the Russian assault. A Russian court has once again dismissed an appeal from U.S. citizen Trevor Reed, the 30-year-old former Marine who is serving a 9-year prison sentence for allegedly assaulting 2 Russian police officers in 2019, a charge his family denies. John Sullivan is the U.S. ambassador to Russia.
The evidence at his trial was so flimsy that spectators and even court personnel laughed at the proceedings.
He says once again justice has been denied for Trevor Reed. A new report out today on the cost of just about everything.
The Labor Department is expected to report that inflation just hit its highest level since 1981, rising at an annual rate of 8.4% in March, up from 7.9% in February. The White House says previous inflation reports did not factor in the jump in oil prices brought on partly by the war in Ukraine. Many economists warn we could see a recession by the end of next year due to the rising cost of goods and the Federal Reserve raising key interest rates in the coming months.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert. All non-emergency U.S. government personnel have been told to leave Shanghai as the city's strict isolation and China's mass COVID testing protocols continue. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A former Virginia police officer found guilty on all 6 counts for his part in the storming of the Capitol on January 6th. Thomas Robertson faced charges that include obstruction of Congress. Another police officer who went to Capitol Hill with him ended up testifying against Robertson. Heavy rains in the Philippines setting off landslides that are blamed for killing at least 25 people. Freedom for a Missouri man who spent close to 20 years behind bars for a murder he did not commit. The Supreme Court there last week ruling Keith Carnes did not receive a fair trial. And on Friday, the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office dropped all charges. But it took until Monday to release him.
I mean, it's messed up, but after doing 18 years and 7 months, a few extra days, I can't complain about it too much.
And a bit of a weird situation in San Francisco. Police officers pulling over a car, but they can't find a driver. It was all caught on a viral video. ABC's Faith Abube.
This is crazy. The car was pulled over because it was driving at night without headlights on. At first, it looks like an ordinary traffic stop. An officer gets out of his car to speak to the driver, only to discover
ain't nobody in it.
And then the car speeds away from the officers, passing through an intersection before pulling over again. Multiple officers then approached to inspect the car.
Turns out it's an autonomous car operated by the company Cruise. It won approval this year to operate driverless taxis in part of the city. This is ABC News.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's the time of year to come to NC Tractor for the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. NC Tractor gives fantastic customer service, the best discounts possible, and it's a locally owned business. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue is helping to make outdoor work more enjoyable. Should you have something that you can be proud of for a long time? Massey Ferguson and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. Come look them over. 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. That phone number is 288-0395. And we'll be broadcasting live from NC Tractor on Saturday morning. Join us at 8 o'clock. Gilbert Carmona's show will be broadcast live from there. We'll pick up at 9 o'clock with a WCAB broadcast. A lot of things to give away, hot dogs, and many good specials going on Saturday at NC Tractors. Customer Appreciation Day, so we want you to be there to show how much you appreciate the good work they're doing over there at NC Tractor, and they'll show you how much they appreciate you with some outstanding deals.
We're tracking temperatures to be on the mild side today. We are likely to be warmer in a few spots as well. High temperatures will head into the upper 70s and the lower 80s. Now, we cannot rule out a few passing showers, especially into the afternoon. Not everyone's going to see rain. Those sprinkles are going to clear out quickly as we head into this evening and tonight. Look for lows in the upper 50s. Highs tomorrow will reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
57 degrees currently. We may get a few shower activities this morning. Todd City ran into a little bit of shower coming in this morning, so just a little bit. It may not last, but looks like maybe there is a slight chance of that coming in tomorrow as well. Showers tomorrow night and Thursday, cloudy with thunder showers, and Thursday night, mostly sunny on Friday and Saturday, and then Easter Sunday morning, looks like we may get some more showers. Partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms on Sunday, the 17th. Highs around 75 and chance of precip about 30%. Well, let's hope that it's come early in the morning and it won't mess up any Easter activities, church services, and picnics and those kind of things. But right now, we have 58 degrees here at WCAB in Rutherfordton. Coming up this morning at 8:30, Patsy Kirkland will be in the studio to talk about her candidacy for clerk of court. She'll be right here in the Blue Room taking questions. And we'll continue this interview process until time expires and the primary comes up real soon. Right now, though, I have this death announcement. Bobby Blanton, age 86 of Ellenboro, passed away Saturday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at the Corinth Baptist Church with Reverend Mike Connor and Reverend Ed Hopper officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery with military honors being provided by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Bobby Blanton of Ellenboro. That is the only obituary we have this morning. But let me catch you up to date on some other things you can put on your calendar for later reference. The rummage sale, Foothills Pilot Club of North Carolina annual rummage sale, is coming up next month, May 7th, 7 a.m. until 12 noon at First Wesleyan Church, South Church Street, Forest City. Project includes adult daycare parties, caregiver recognition, Christmas candy canes, Church of the Exceptional, Grandparents' Day, law enforcement support, Penny Davis Scholarship, and Project Lifesaver. That's the projects that the Foothills Pilot Club of North Carolina involved themselves with, and they raise money to help support these organizations. Next blood drive we have posted with the American Red Cross is Friday, April 22nd at First Baptist Church of Forest City Fellowship Hall, 12 until 5:30. Is hosted by the Forest City Fire Department. That's on West Main Street and Forest City. That is Friday, April the 22nd. The second annual Youth Jesus Jam at Riverside Baptist Church will take place April 30th, 12 until 4. That's on Hogan Road, Forest City. Live performance by Rare of Breed. Special guest speakers Lizard Lick Towing, Ron and Amy Shirley. Also performing Ecclesias and Wrestling for Christ. There'll be hot dogs, chips, and drinks will be provided, and they'll accept donations. Bring your own chair for this big event. Second annual Youth Jesus Jam, April 30th at Riverside Baptist Church. Braves lost last night to the Nationals 11-2. Now here's Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Tuesday, I am still angry over the U.S. airline industry, as I reported yesterday on the radio update and on the No Spin News television broadcast. Millions of Americans are being abused by the airlines, and it has to stop. Just quickly, I tried to fly from New York City to Turks Caicos 10 days ago, and I was delayed 5 hours. Why? Because JetBlue did not have a pilot to fly the plane and didn't alert anybody, and we all came to the airport. And that happened all over that weekend. Now, the Biden administration, the Department of Transportation, that's Pete Buttigieg, and the FAA, supposed to regulate this and fine the airlines. It never does. Those agencies don't provide any oversight at all. So Americans are at the mercy of these airlines that simply cancel flights whenever they want because they don't have enough personnel to fly the planes. You pay your money and your butt sits there for hours and hours and hours. This has got to, as I said, stop. This is a violation of the contract. It is a safety violation. We have people with small children sitting there, sitting on runways. What we all have to do is get in touch with the Department of Transportation. Now this. If you are stuck in a timeshare, please call my friends at Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee to get you out with a specified time frame given to you in writing. They have helped thousands of unhappy timeshare owners over the past decade. Family owned, their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. So please call for a no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Hey, bosses, listen to me. It's time to nominate your secretary or administrative assistant in the annual WCAB Secretary's Day promotion. Send her name and the company name to WCAB no later than April 25th. You can send it via fax to 828-287-7182 or email it to me, Jim Bishop, at nctv.com, or mail it to the Post Office Box 511, Rutherfordton, 28139, or bring it by the studio at 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will be taking place during the morning show, April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday, the 29th, and showered with flowers and gifts. She's counting on you, boss. Don't disappoint her.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
Edward Masterson, the oldest of 7 children, was closest to his brother William, who was 1 year younger than he. At 20 years of age, he and his brother William left home to hunt buffalo. In 1877, his brother William Masterson, now going by the nickname Bat, was elected sheriff of Dodge City. In many ways, Bat was the prototypical frontier lawman. He was tough, but at the same time fair. His brother Ed was appointed deputy marshal. Bat was concerned that Ed was just not cut out to be a lawman. Ed was gentle and easygoing. He liked everyone and everyone liked him. But Ed wasn't reluctant to do his duty. Within a couple of months of each other, Ed engaged in 2 shootouts. In the second, he not only shot a cowboy twice, he was shot in the arm. Ed's last shootout took place on April 9, 1879. Some cowboys were carrying on at the Lady Gay Saloon. Ed Masterson went there and found that Jack Wagner was carrying a gun against city ordinance. Ed took it away from him and gave it to Jack's boss, A.M. Walker. Ed then left the saloon. As soon as he left, Warner's boss gave Jack back his pistol, and they followed Ed out to the street. As Wagner walked up to Ed, Ed grabbed Wagner's pistol. The gun fired, hitting Ed in the gut. The blast of the muzzle even set Ed's clothes on fire. Ed then pulled his pistol and fired 4 shots, one hitting Wagner and the other 3 ripped into Walker. Ed Masterson calmly walked another 200 yards and then fell to the ground. A half hour later, he was dead. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
7:16 now, time for us to go to the phones to find out what's been happening over our county in the past few hours. And we'll stop at the Sheriff's Department first and talk with Sheriff Chris Francis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. Hope you're doing well this morning.
I'm doing well on a terrific Tuesday morning. I don't know any better day to have than right here.
There you go.
What's on the report today?
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 116 calls for service. There have been 12 arrests processed to county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 171. Among those arrested, Nicholas Roger Sheehan, 32-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with failure to comply with child support, received a $1,500 cash bond. Travis Lee Gabbery, 31-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with possession of Schedule II and drug paraphernalia, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michael Andrew Ledbetter, 41-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to comply with child support and received a $600 cash bond. Nathan Anthony Wright, 27-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear, felony, and received a $10,000 secure bond. Cy Antoine Ashford, 19-year-old male of Charlotte, was charged with carrying a concealed weapon and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Joshua Tyrese Johnson, 22-year-old male of Charlotte, was charged with possession of a stolen firearm and received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Among our incidents, we had a larceny on Hudlow Road. It was a Dollar General. Appeared to be 4 Dr. Brown baby bottles. $24 were taken in that. We also had a break and enter in larceny on Brooklyn Road in Forest City. There was an orange leaf blower, a Bosch nail gun, and a Metabu finish gun, and also nail gun. And in a separate instance, we had harassing phone calls there at the DSS building. An employee received multiple unwanted phone calls and texts. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff, thank you very much for that report. I hope you have a safe day and a good day.
Thank you, sir. You as well.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Sheriff Chris Francis reporting in at 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. 911 Communications Center will be our next stop.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
And Jessica is giving the report this morning from 911 Communications Center. Jessica, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's been going on with your phone calls.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 communications has processed 435 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 47 for EMS. Under law enforcement, we had 116 for the Sheriff's Office, 59 for Forest City, 34 for Rutherford, 4 for Lake Lure, and 39 for Spindale. Under the fire departments, Ballstick had a motor vehicle accident, Ellenboro had 2 motor vehicle accidents, and SBO had a motor vehicle accident. And that is all.
Thanks, Jessica. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And we're going over to Ruby Taylor's place and SDO Fire District and talk with her right now. Ruby Taylor, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
The fire department had one call, and that was to a vehicle accident. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Ann Doggett, Kent Wilkerson, and Brandon Bride having birthday, and I hope they've all had will have a nice day. And the signs are in the bowels today and tomorrow, and that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a wonderful day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Braves have two more games with the Nationals. They lost to them last night. They play that again tonight and Wednesday night. Tonight's game is 6:05 airtime. Tomorrow's Wednesday game is an afternoon game, 12:15 first pitch with the Braves and the Nationals. They lost to the Nationals last time, 11-2. And we're heading up toward the mountains now, Fairfield Mountains, Bills Creek community. Gary Wilson's on the phone to give us the news. Hey, Gary, good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, John. How you doing?
Doing good.
Get a little rain down that way?
Not yet. We had a little bit of a few drops while ago, but nothing yet. Are you getting some?
A little sprinkle.
Yeah.
Shower. It's wet leaves down a little bit, maybe. Don't be another one day, looks like.
Yes.
Upper 70s, going to be that way about all week, looks like. That'd be good. That's good. Glad to see that. And we've had no calls really. I think it's been quiet tonight. Last night, looked like you get some rest. And hopefully stay that way the rest of the week. But getting be the rain here now, like it's rolling in Priester, so it's coming up this coming weekend, so not far off.
It's here, isn't it? You got all your eggs dyed so far?
Every one of them died so far. Yeah. And that's about all we got up here, Jim. We've been going on pretty quiet this morning.
All right, Gary, appreciate you. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now let's head over toward Boston Way, get Bert Upton on the phone to see if we can get some news from that part of that county. Good morning, Bert. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good as well.
Well, good. Train's already run over here in Boston. Left his tracks.
Left his tracks.
Yes.
How often does that train go through town?
About maybe twice, sometimes three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's 57 degrees over here in Boston, and Boston Fire Department had no calls, but they did have a meeting last night. The Bee Store there on Depot Street. Stop in and check her items out. Washburn Store is always a pleasure to go in, and especially getting you one of their good sandwiches. Hope everyone has a wonderful day and enjoys it.
Thanks, Deverne. You have a good day as well. See you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Bob Hodge, how you doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing just fine on this Tuesday morning.
Getting any rain up your way yet?
We're getting a shower of rain right now up this way, so yeah, getting a shower right now, and it don't look like it's going to last long. Look like it's not too cloudy out here, so maybe it'll move out after a while.
I think it will.
Yeah, it look like it's just going to be early this morning there, maybe later on this evening, look like, so. But overall, look like it's going to be a pretty good day. And Jim, with the fire department, it's been quiet overnight. Hadn't had any fire call. And the Wilson Baptist Church will be having an Easter egg hunt and a hot dog lunch is coming Saturday, and that's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they'll also be having their Easter sunrise service Sunday morning at 6:30. And Jim, that's about all I have up here so far this morning.
Are you dyeing the eggs at your house, or is Imogene doing all that for you?
Well, she'll be doing that, I reckon, there. Well, maybe the grandkids will come by there Sunday evening there and maybe have a little Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun there, yeah.
All right, Bob, I hope you have a wonderful day up there.
You too, Jim.
Thanks. See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How hot is the new Scorching Hot 7 scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery? Well, with a top prize of $700,000 and a bonus game on the back, people everywhere are hot to trot, in hot pursuit, and hot on the trail of these little hotcakes. So get out of your hot tub, put on your hot pants, and hot rod on over to strike while the iron is hot and pick up the new Scorching Hot 7 scratch-offs before someone else starts their hot streak and you find yourself left out in the cold. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.65. Problem gambling. Helpline 877-718-5543.
And on our circle around the county to scoop up some news, our next stop is going to be Sunshine over the Cherry Mountain Fire District. And that's where Sue Price is, and that's where she reports from. Let's see what she has for us this morning. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
Everything well with you?
Everything's well.
Good.
Or it looks like we're going to have a right nice day. I don't think we're getting any rain yet. But might get a shower after a while. Well, let's see. I have absolutely nobody on my calendars today. Nobody's celebrating that I know of, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Duncans Creek Church will be having their service, Easter service at 7:30, I think, on Sunday. And breakfast to follow. Then on the 24th, the Piney Mountain Boys will be with us for the 11 a.m. worship service. So everybody looks forward to them. They're a good group. First Broad has an Easter egg hunt. They already had that, but they'll be having their service at 7 a.m. sunrise service. Then they'll have breakfast, Sunday school, and the worship service at 10:30. And Fairview will be having their Easter sunrise service at 6:30, and breakfast to follow. So a lot of good services coming up on Easter. Always a wonderful day, and so far. That's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks very much, Sue. Enjoy your day as well, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's 7:30. Braves play tonight. Here on the radio at 6:05 is airtime. We'll go to the first pitch at 7:15, again against the Nationals after losing so embarrassingly last night, 11-2. Nationals over the Braves. Perhaps they could bounce back tonight. We're going to give them credit for that and hope they do.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
And Andrew will be in this morning at a little after 8 o'clock to talk more in length about how to make sense of our finances. Join him for that. It's always fun every year to help bosses celebrate their success of their secretaries or their administrative assistant. We have not been able to do that for the past couple of years due to COVID, but things have opened up to the point we feel comfortable in doing this again. So, bosses, I want you to send her name and the company name to us no later than April 25th. You can fax it to us if you have a fax machine at 287-7182, or you can email it to me at jimbishop@nctv.com, or mail it to us, Post Office Box 511, Rutherford, 28139, or just drop it off by here, either way. Now, the drawing will take place during the morning show, April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday the 29th, and we'll shower them with flowers and gifts galore. She's counting on you, boss. Don't let her down. If you don't have time to take her out, we surely can. So we'll do that for you. Send their name in to us, send the company they represent right here. Get that going for us.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Unable to reach the folks there at the Drop-In Family Grocery there in Bossy because of a busy schedule this morning, but we're going to jump right over there. We're going to miss breakfast because of that. But we'll go right on up to Shingle Hollow and talk with Tina White. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. They're making breakfast over there. Lots of it probably at the drop-in.
They are indeed, and boy, is it ever good.
Well, up here in Shingle Hollow this morning, it's 58 degrees. Fire department was all quiet in the past 24 hours. We have birthdays for Tricia Fleming and Nina Vaughn and Rebecca Towers. Hope all these ladies have a wonderful birthday. Easter Bash is going on this Saturday at Piney Knob Baptist Church. Everyone invited to come out and bring their kids. That's going to be from 12 to 2. And that's all I have right now going on. We're all getting ready for sunrise services around here.
Do you sleep? Do you go to bed early when you go to a sunrise service so you stay awake during the service?
I try to, but I'm an early riser usually.
Oh, good.
Sometimes it's hard to get into bed early.
Yeah, it is. Too many distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Too many,
lots of things to do.
Too many phone calls.
Well, but people don't usually call me unless it's my mama or after 9 because they know. Father Tina after 9 o'clock, or you might be in trouble.
I hear you. All right, everything else quiet then.
Everything's quiet. We're going to have a great day up here. We'll have some rain this morning. It sounds like Bob's already having some down there, so it'll just probably mosey on up here.
Tina, I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Be safe and God bless you.
Thank you. Shingle Hollow reporting in this morning at 7:35. You know, I've heard some really difficult comments about how complicated it is and how aggravating it is sometimes to get through a medical process, a medical procedure, and have to wait so long, and then the doctor may not spend but just a couple of minutes with you and move you on to the next. Well, imagine quality primary health care and urgent care services for you without all that hassle. It's available to you, and your family from Brock Family Care. Family medicine the way it ought to be. No insurance to deal with, general primary medical care, chronic disease prevention and management, urgent care, medication management, and so much more. You'll find it very rewarding to have a medical company like this one to take care of your family. Brock Family Care is a membership-based model where patients pay their primary care provider directly through monthly or annual fees rather than paying through an insurance provider. Not accepting any forms of health insurance cuts out the hassles and allows for more personalized and affordable health care. That's what we all want, right? Personalized and affordable health care. It may be time to move into the health plan like this one for your family or your business. Call to check on it. 382-7282, or go to the website and read about them, brockfamilycare.com. It should be a winner for you and your family. Brenda Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine on this terrific Tuesday morning. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine on this terrific Tuesday morning.
I'm glad to hear it. It's a little bit cloudy and drizzly rain up here. But that's all right. It'll wash some of the pollen away, won't it?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Well, pollen's been terrific this year.
I've had a time. Usually it don't bother me much, but boy, this year, let me go outside and I sneeze and I sneeze and I sneeze. My eyes water, my nose runs, and it's just terrible.
Yep.
But that's what we have to go through every year, ain't it?
For living here, that's what we have to deal with, yeah.
Yeah.
We can move to Arizona, I guess.
Well, no, I'll just stay here. I'm too old for change like that.
Don't want to start all over, huh?
No, no. Well, let's see. I've got 50 degrees on the front porch. I don't have no birthdays, but I got one anniversary, and that's Chuck and Susan Radford. So we hope Chuck and Susan has a great old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcements, we've got an Easter egg hunt Saturday to the 16th at 11 a.m. This will be at the Gilkey School Community Center. And then Far City Church of the Nazarene is going to have sunrise service at 7 a.m. Easter morning, breakfast to follow, and everyone welcome. Then after that, we'll have an Easter egg hunt for the children. Week-long Easter egg hunt in Union Mills, Monday, April the 11th, 10 a.m. through Saturday, April the 16th at 7 p.m. This is a county-wide event for children under 12 years old. This is sponsored by the Town of Rutherford, Town of Spindale, Union Mills Learning Center, Rutherford Outdoor Coalition, and Broad River Water Authority. Candy-filled eggs will be hidden in various locations during the week. Please only hunt on one day in order to allow others to enjoy the activity. Union Mills locations will include Union Mills Learning Center, Union Mills Fire Department, Union Mills Community Club, Round Hill Baptist Church, Mount Pleasant CME Church, and Thermal City Methodist Church, and the Presbyterian Church. Eggs will be located around these buildings, but not in any cemeteries. And then on Saturday, April the 30th, Union Mills Learning Center, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Springtime at the Mills vendor event. Over 60 vendors will be on site with various crafts and items. No admission. Rapid tickets available for sale. And I think that's got me covered.
There's a lot going on up that way.
We got got busy this week of Easter, didn't we?
I tell you right now, people are ready to make something happen up there.
That's exactly right, and keep us out of trouble.
We started a tradition in our family, I don't know, several years ago. When the family started growing, and we have both of the kids and their family, and they came in for Easter dinner, Easter lunch, and we take those plastic eggs. They started doing it. Take those plastic eggs and put a little bit of money in each one of them. It could be a quarter, it could be $5, it could be $1, it could be $10, it could be 2 quarters, different amounts of money, and then everybody draws an egg and see what they get, how much money they get. So it's always been fun, and they always ask everybody, "You gonna do the eggs this year?"
Oh, that's neat. I know years ago when I was at Camp Creek Church, and for the youth, you had this dozen of eggs, and you do it before Easter, so many weeks before Easter. So it'd be 12 weeks before Easter, because there's 12 eggs. You do one a Sunday, and there's always something in it. And you shake it, and they had a little thing you read to go with it to have the children to guess what was in it, like whether it was a cross or whether it was a nail that you nailed, and thorns or what. It was neat. I forget what they were called, but I remember doing that with the children, and they really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't know of anything else going on, so I guess you better go check with Ruth the Sweet Thing.
All right, Brenda, hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Catch you later.
Bye-bye. Well, it is time to go to Ellenboro and touch bases with Luther Gillen, see what he is up to. We're happy to report that the missing person, Tiffany Luckadoo, that we announced from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, has been she's been found. So she's been found unharmed, so that's good to bring reports these missing persons, which we seem to have a lot of them, but it's always good to be able to report they've been brought home. Now this update on James Donnie Dover, he's still missing. Still missing. Don't know the cause of that, where that one is, but they're still looking for him. All right, and we're happy to be a public service to these agencies that wants to help them so you can help find whoever they're looking for and spot a car that's used in a robbery or something like that. So we're happy to do that kind of thing. All right, let's head now to Ellenboro and get Luther Gilligan on the phone, see what's happening over there. Luther, good morning.
Good morning, you two. Good morning down here this morning.
Is your allergies better?
Not much.
Yeah.
Where I can't talk good. That's not good.
Yeah.
When Luther can't talk, that's the problem.
Yeah.
He'd love to talk about something. Don't say much of worth it. Everybody talks a lot. But it's quiet there. They had a quiet day for most part. Yesterday, the fire department, they only had 2 medical calls yesterday. Other than that, they were quiet last night, quiet this morning. But we won't wish Mr. Bob Jenkins a happy birthday today, so he's happy birthday. So we hope Bob has a great day and enjoys his day. Jim, I hope we have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Get better soon.
All right, take care.
And it's time now for birthdays and anniversaries for this 12th day of April. 12th day of April birthdays and anniversaries can be called in to us right now. We've cleared all the phone lines for you. 287-3356, and we'll have a big birthday party. Give you a big shout out. And let's see what how many people celebrating today. 287-3356. Meanwhile, let me remind you that Granny B's back open 6:30 to 11. They serve breakfast over there. Boy, what a reputation they're getting with good breakfast, good eating. At least say down home, boy, that's good eating. That's good eating over there at Granny B's. And you can have a breakfast like you like it and enjoy that there in the restaurant, or take it with you to your place of work and enjoy it. But order your breakfast the way you like it. Eggs and sausage and pancakes and delicious daylight donuts. Notice I can't hardly get through this breakfast talk with my Granny B's without mentioning those delicious daylight donuts. They got them. And they got a good coffee range over there, too. They got several of those fancy specialty coffees in addition to regular coffee. But whatever, you'll be happy you stopped by Granny B's for breakfast this morning. Main Street there, right next to the Shake Shop.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Zeke Rumfeld up in Sunshine. Zeke is 4. Johnny Harris over in Bostic, 79. And Tina Smith, one of the 911 dispatchers, she's 38. So happy birthday to these fine folks. Other folks of nationally known reputation. 1932, Tiny Tim was born. He died in 1996. John Hagee, he's a pastor down in Texas. He was born in 1940. He's on several channels, but I forget the name of the church he pastors out there. Ed O'Neill, actor, and he was Al Bundy. He's born in 1946. David Letterman, 1947, so he was born. 1950, David Cassidy, a singer. He died in 2017. Events on this day include 1858, first U.S. Billiards Championship held. 1861, Fort Sumter, South Carolina is attacked by the Confederacy, beginning the Civil War. 1877, catcher's masks first used in baseball game. 1945, U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt died in office, and Vice President Harry Truman is sworn in as 53rd president. It's National Education and Sharing Day, is that right? Sharing Day. National Only Child Day. National Colorado Day. National Grilled Cheese Day, I could go that. And National Licorice Days. So now you're up to date this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherford. Keys to Confident Living coming up. Following that, we'll have music down memory lane. 805 Andrew Tisdale, 830 Patsy Kirkland. 905 My Great America with Jim and Butch. All that straight ahead, folks. Exclusively right here on WCAB in Rutherford.
A wife was complaining to her counselor that she had been coming to him for 2 years and all he ever did was listen. She commented, "You never say anything back." The counselor sat there in silence. The patient in desperation said, "I don't have to come here to get this kind of help. I can just stay home with my husband. That's all he ever does." Lack of communication, or at least poor communication, is one of the greatest problems faced in marriage. She often wants him to listen, to give her his undivided attention, to act like he genuinely cares about her interests, while on the other hand, what he considers little chit-chat does not come easily, so he tends to avoid it, especially if it involves feelings and sentimental things. Men and women are different in their needs and desires. Therefore, they each understand a completely different idea of communication. They get upset when the other person doesn't respond like they think they should. Frustration and anger are often the result. What can couples do? How can they improve their communications and their marriages? 1. Ask God for wisdom and understanding. 2. Seek to understand life through the other person's eyes. This is not easy, especially since we usually don't think the same way. And finally, attempt to meet the other person's need rather than focusing only on yourself. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are available in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Hey, bosses, listen to me. It's time to nominate your secretary or administrative assistant in the annual WCAB Secretary's Day promotion. Send her name and the company name to WCAB no later than April 25th. You can send it via fax to 828-287-7182 or email it to me, Jim Bishop, at nctv.com, or mail it to the Post Office Box 511, Rutherfordton, 28139, or bring it by the studio at 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will be taking place during the morning show, April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday, the 29th, and showered with flowers and gifts. She's counting on you, boss. Don't disappoint her.
WCAB, the music's on us.
cents, but few gas stations actually sell that blend. Only about 2% of stations nationwide, most of them in the Midwest.
That's ABC's Andrew Dimbert. Gas prices have actually been dropping since the White House announced that plan to release oil from the nation's strategic reserve. We get an economic snapshot today when the Labor Department releases consumer price information shortly. Inflation expected to be rising at the fastest pace since 1981. With COVID cases inching up once again, some cities, including Philadelphia, are reintroducing mask mandates. You're listening to ABC News.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Raids and arrests continue after that string of Palestinian attacks on Israelis over the last couple of weeks. ABC's Jordana Miller has more from Jerusalem.
The Israeli army reporting it arrested 20 suspected Palestinian militants in the northern part of the disputed West Bank. That's on day 4 of the IDF's operations in and around Jenin, the hometown of the Palestinian militant who recently shot dead 3 Israelis at a Tel Aviv bar. In the city of Ashkelon, a militant shot dead after stabbing a police officer. That's the 4th Palestinian attack in 24 hours. But in an encouraging sign, the violence has not spread here to Jerusalem or to Gaza. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Strong winds fueling wildfires near Albuquerque, New Mexico. Several homes have burned, and officials in the area have ordered evacuations. And if you have a flight taking you through Atlanta, you got a whole lot of company.
Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport is again at the top of the list of the world's busiest, serving as the starting point, destination, or stopover for 75.7 million passengers last year. The pandemic had turned the rankings on their head, with Chinese airports taking 7 of the top 10 spots in 2020. This year, according to Airports Council International, U.S. airports are 8 of the 10 busiest in the world. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
A few sprinkles will be possible for today. It's not going to be a washout by any means, but if you do run into some rain, that will gradually move out quickly. Today's going to be another warm one. Highs will be in the upper 70s and the lower 80s. And by tonight, we're down into the 50s and the lower 60s. Tomorrow, look for highs in the low to mid 80s. Showers and thunderstorms will arrive again late Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thanks for running, Peter. We're 56 right now, 56 degrees. It had a little rain earlier. May rain some more this morning, and we got rain in the forecast a couple of days. Looks like Easter Sunday may get a little rain as well. But Saturday's nice. Friday and Saturday's nice. But we'll see what happens, and we'll just roll with the punches. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, Andrew Tisdale Day here in the Blue Room, and he's coming up in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Colby Smith, a Navy veteran born and raised in Rutherford County. I first met Theo at the Republican headquarters where he and I worked together. Theo and I quickly became friends, and I knew he had a servant's heart. After retiring from the Highway Patrol, Theo served as a federal air marshal. Theo understands our county's needs and has a plan to fix it. Theo's leadership and straightforward approach is exactly what Rutherford County needs in a sheriff. Remember, experience matters. Vote for Theo May 17th.
Paid for by Steve Theodoropoulos, Republican for Sheriff.
All right, it's time now to entertain the idea of letting Andrew Tisdale talk on a microphone this morning in the Blue Room. He's getting very good at this. He's been doing this now for a while, and we're always honored to have him in the Blue Room. Mr. Andrew Tisdale, good morning.
I appreciate this privilege.
You doing okay?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Had a good weekend, I guess.
I did have a good weekend. I'm trying to think, what did we do?
You doing some fishing, or is it too cold for that?
Yes, exactly right. I do remember on Sunday, me and Elliot and Coleman and Abby went to Armstrong Creek and caught a couple of small little trout for about an hour and a half. So that was fun. That's one of those things you go and you do, and you come back just about as much more happier.
Yeah,
and it's not because you caught fish.
Just to be out there along the water, listen to the water flow down the stream.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I can't remember what else I did.
Yeah, must have been fun.
It must have been pretty good. That was yesterday. Let's talk about today.
I know. What you got on your mind today?
Here's the question a lot of people are seeing. If you have investments and you're getting your statements and you see it's lower this month, it's lower this month, it's lower today, it's lower today, you're going to start getting anxious and you're going to start thinking, am I going to have enough money to retire? Am I losing everything? Here's some things to really look at. Yes, the bottom line really counts. We all are trained and we believe in the bottom line. If you're seeing that bottom line value starting to fall, here's some things, though, I want to encourage you to look at if your money's going to last. One, what are you taking from it if you're taking anything? If you're taking something from it, are you taking the dividends, just the dividends? Or are you actually trying to get the growth out of it? If you're trying to get the growth, of course, you're actually missing some opportunities here. If you just take these dividends out and you're not selling shares and growth parts of your investments, you're not going to run out of money. Or yields. If you're in bonds, are you just using the yields that's going to be paying you for the rest of your life? Today is, and now where we're at is a good time to sit down and look at, okay, how am I going to live off of this? Because letting your money work for you all the time doesn't mean it's going to grow value all the time, but it is going to pay you something. And that gives you security in knowing I don't have to go back to work.
I like the sound of that, don't you?
Absolutely. When I retire, I want to retire.
That's right.
I may do something else.
Because you have a lot of versatile things you do anyway, coaching baseball and going fishing and skiing and things like that, so you can occupy your time.
Yeah, and I need at least 2 more days a week fishing.
You'll find Andrew Tisdale and Edward Jones making sense of investing. He's a financial advisor, and he's over on Charlotte Road. The phone number is 287-9197. He can always happy to answer your questions about how to make your dollars work best for you.
It's a pleasure.
Come see us next week.
I sure will.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
I'll be back in just a moment with the Sheriff's Report and news from here and there. Imagine quality primary care health and urgent care services for you without the hassles. It is available to you and your family from Brock Family Care. Family medicine the way it ought to be. No insurance to deal with. General primary medical care. Chronic disease prevention and management. Urgent care. Medication management and so much more. Brock Family Care is a membership-based model where patients pay their primary care provider directly through monthly or annual fees rather than paying through an insurance provider. Not accepting any forms of health insurance cuts out the hassles and allows for more personalized and affordable health care. It may be time to move into this kind of plan for you and your family or your business. Call today and get more information. Here is the number. Write it down. 828-382-7282. This is the way health care should be. Call 828-382-7282. Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City. Patsy Kirkland coming in 8:30 this morning for her interview, running for clerk of court, and we'll talk with her about why she'd like to have that job. All straight ahead. Stay with us.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
News from here and there. So interesting story from the Daily Courier. It said the question, do you have pesticides at your home or farm that you no longer need or use? Well, if the answer is yes, then you'll be interested in the Rutherford County Pesticide Collection Day, which is Thursday, April 21st. The Rutherford County Extension Office, in cooperation with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Pesticide Disposal Assistance Program, a non-regulatory and cost-free program, will be offering this Pesticide Collection Day for residents in Rutherford County and all the surrounding North Carolina counties. County Agricultural Extension Agent Hannah Bundy will be the local contact for this event. The collection will be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Extension Center's parking lot at the Senior Center in Spindale on Callahan-Coon Road. Nearly all pesticide products will be accepted at this amnesty collection event, including banned and outdated pesticides. For pesticides with unreadable or missing labels, please contact the Cooperative Extension Office for instructions. Please save any portion of the label to help identify the material so you can be assisted with disposal. Unknown materials cannot be accepted. Each year, the Pesticide Disposal Assistance Program visits between 40 to 50 counties to collect unwanted and unused pesticides through this non-regulatory amnesty program. This means that a collection day of this kind only happens about once every other year in each county. Don't miss this pesticide collection opportunity in Rutherford County, co-sponsored by NCDA and CS and the NCEE and NCCES. For more information, you can contact Hannah Bundy, Rutherford County Agricultural Extension Agent, at 298-6010. Congratulations to Pinnacle. Pinnacle 17 Rutherford County schools, elementary and middle school teams competed in the annual Carolina Ozobots robot competition held Saturday at Central High School. Through every elementary and middle school in the school system did not field a team. Several schools fielded two teams. Pinnacle Elementary team Hogwarts won first place with 225 points. Second place went to Sunshine Bearbots with 215 points. Third place went to Cliffside Centennials with 195 points. The Against All Odds Awards went to the Rutherfordton Cargo Carriers, and the Rising Star Awards went to Mount Vernon Ruth Phantom Droids. RCS has a robotics program as part of a broader effort to prepare all students for college and career success. The robotics initiative provides elementary and middle school students opportunities to build essential knowledge and develop critical life skills. Robots are beginning to take over our society in many cases. I saw a video on Facebook the other week. I don't think our local Denny's is doing this, but in a Denny's restaurant somewhere, they had robots delivering you food to your table. They knew exactly which table to go to, and they stop, and you just reach over and grab your food, put it on your plate. Then the robot goes back and collects another meal. So it's I guess maybe coming to that. Not much personal service much anymore. Well, Out of the Ashes is the recipient of a major grant from CQ, the State Employees Credit Union Foundation. Out of the Ashes Executive Director Pat Chamberlain is hopeful that it will be game-changing for the nonprofit, which is the only organization in Rutherford County providing shelter services to the homeless. State Employees Credit Union Foundation recently gave the organization $40,000, part of which will be used to fund consulting services that will, officials say, help out of the Ashes on path toward sustainability. The grant from the foundation was in response to Out of the Ashes' request for help to address the long-range planning and sustainability of its second phase campus development for transitorial housing and temporary shelters for homeless men and women. Since its founding in 2017, Out of the Ashes has been providing shelter and supportive services, including food, transportation, job skills training, financial counseling, and more, with the help of community partnerships. So with the help of support of Dogwood Trust, in 2021, Out of the Ashes was able to purchase a new facility, which was a former church campus located on Countryside Drive, Forest City. The 7.2-acre property will allow Out of the Ashes to consolidate its shelter services at one location. So congratulations to them for receiving that State Employees Credit Union Foundation gift of around $40,000. Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Francis coming up here in just a moment.
Don't vote for the same people over and over again expecting a different result. I'm Patsy Kirkland, and I'm running for Clerk of Court. It's time for a change. No more sitting on the sidelines and allowing poor service, poor management, and dishonesty to plague our office. I've worked in the clerk's office as an assistant clerk. With my years of service, attention to detail, knowledge, skills, and ability, I will make it better. Elect a clerk you can trust. Vote Patsy Kirkland for Clerk of Court. Paid for by the committee to elect Patsy Kirkland for clerk.
You still have some time to take advantage of the going out of business sale at the Recliner Center. JD's got a few more items left he wants to sell at half price. He's selling recliners at half price, a few lift chairs left at half price, some love seats in the store, and it's your chance to get the chair you've been wanting at half price. Check on the mattresses available during this going out of business sale at the Recliner Center, 520 Coopers Gap Road. Now, here are the hours of the sale at the Recliner Center. You do not need to make an appointment. Just go by these hours and they'll be open for you. Monday through Friday, 1 to 6, and Saturdays 10 to 3. Don't miss it. No deliveries during this closeout sale, but you can get some fantastic savings and bargains in that. 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. Colorado Governor Jared Polis signed a bill into law on Monday that makes abortion a right in the state. The bill passed the state Senate on March 23rd by a vote of 2015 and passed the State House about a week prior, where they signed a bill that says killing a baby is a right. An unborn baby is a right. You can do that. No matter what the Supreme Court does in the future, people in Colorado will be able to choose when and if they have children. We want to make sure that our state is a place where everyone can live and work and thrive and raise a family on their own, or, in other words, kill a baby when they want to. Polis failed to see the irony in his comment that Colorado would be a place where everyone can live. This law, HB 22-1279, or the Reproductive Health Equity Act, strips every preborn human being at any point in pregnancy of his or her right to live. The law states that an undelivered baby does not have independent or derivative rights under the laws of the state. The poor innocent baby wanting to get out and have a life that God has ordained for them. But when the Senate passed the bill, Colorado GOP Chairwoman Christy Brown called it a dark day for the Colorado Democrat Party and any individual who respects the sanctity of life. She added, if Jared Polis decides to sign this extreme abortion bill, he will put Colorado's abortion laws on par with China and North Korea. The 5-page bill ensures that a government entity in Colorado cannot deny, restrict, interfere with, or discriminate against an individual's fundamental right to use or refuse contraception or to continue a pregnancy and give birth or to have an abortion. In addition, the bill states that a woman can make choices about abortion based on the pregnancy outcomes, with wording which implies that she could have that baby aborted at any point in that stage of pregnancy. Isn't that sad? Have we come to that? All right, the report from the Sheriff's Department was given to us this morning by Sheriff Chris Francis. Here it is.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 116 calls for service. There have been 12 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 171. Among those arrested, Nicholas Roger Sheehan, 32-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with failure to comply child support, received a $1,500 cash bond. Travis Lee Gabbery, 31-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with possession of Schedule II and drug paraphernalia, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Michael Andrew Ledbetter, 41-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to comply child support and received a $600 cash bond. Nathan Anthony Wright, 27-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear, felony, and received a $10,000 secure bond. Cy Antoine Ashford, 19-year-old male of Charlotte, was charged with carrying a concealed weapon and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Joshua Tyrese Johnson, 22-year-old male in Charlotte, was charged with possession of a stolen firearm and received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Among our incidents, we had a larceny on Hudlow Road. It was a Dollar General. Appeared to be 4 Dr. Brown baby bottles. $24 were taken in that. We also had a break and enter and larceny on Brooklyn Road in Forest City. There was an orange leaf blower, a Bosch nail gun, and a Metaboo finish gun, and also nail gun. And in a separate instance, we had harassing phone calls there at the DSS building. An employee received multiple unwanted phone calls and texts. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
Hi, my name's Jake Johnson, and I'm running for North Carolina House District 113. If elected to represent you in the legislature, I will continue fighting for the lives of the unborn, defending our Second Amendment rights, cutting taxes and regulation, securing our elections, and standing up for veterans and law enforcement. Remember to vote Jake Johnson for North Carolina House in this year's Republican primary. Thank you and God bless. Paid for by the committee to elect Jake Johnson.
Coming up in just a few minutes, about 8:30 or so, Patsy Kirkland's in the studio to talk with us and you about her candidacy for clerk of court. We'll hear all of that straight ahead. Right now, take a little pause for the calls and update you on some sports news. Coming up after a little bridge of interlude with some pretty good music.
CN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. We start with action on the diamond, and Stephen Kwan kept up an historic start to his big league career with a bases-loaded triple. Oscar Mercado added a 2-run homer, and the Cleveland Guardians beat Kansas City 10-7 to split their season-opening series. In other action, George Springer answered the booing fans with a go-ahead 2-run homer and an RBI double as the Blue Jays made a 3 sparking defensive plays to beat New York 3-0 and extend their Yankee Stadium winning streak to 5 games. Cedric Mullins hit a 2-run single. Bruce Zimmerman pitched 4 sharp innings, and the Orioles won their opening game at a slightly altered Camden Yard 2-0 over the Milwaukee Brewers. On the pro court, the NBA heads have begun to roll. The Sacramento Kings have fired interim coach Alvin Gentry a day after the franchise missed the playoffs for a 16th straight season. Sacramento won their final game of the year, 116-109 at the NBA leading Phoenix Suns on Sunday. They finished the season 30-52. The 67-year-old Gentry was promoted from an associate head coach to interim coach when the Kings fired Luke Walton in November following a 6-11 start. On the ice, just one game on Monday's slate. Evgeny Svechnikov scored a tie-breaking goal midway through the third period, and the Winnipeg Jets beat the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, the Hurricanes begin an action-packed final stretch of the regular season. Carolina will travel to New York for a showdown at Madison Square Garden with the Rangers, who are just 2 points behind the Hurricanes for the lead in the Metropolitan Division. Now, this game opens a stretch of 9 games over 17 days before the postseason. The Canes' Brent Pesce likes the pace of things.
Too much time off. Get like 3 or 4 days. I kind of feel rusty for the next game. So, yeah, it's good. Just playing, not much practice, just going and just riding it out.
Carolina's already locked up a playoff spot. They've struggled with consistency of late, though, going 5-3-2 over their last 10 games. This is NCN Sports.
2 years ago, America had energy independence. Now, gas is the most expensive it's been in history. President Biden and the Democrats have given us the Green New Deal and have shut down the Keystone Pipeline, creating soaring gas prices and product shortages while making us even more dependent on foreign oil. Even worse, Biden now says his plan is to consider buying oil from Iran and Venezuela. That's not an energy policy. It's a policy for disaster. The common sense answer? Stop buying oil from our enemies and restore our energy independence. Here in North Carolina, there's one candidate who will do just that. Marjorie Eastman is the only candidate for Senate who is not a career politician. She's a decorated military veteran, a mom, an entrepreneur, and a political outsider ready to go to Washington to restore common sense. Marjorie Eastman for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Restore Common Sense PAC, www.restorecommonsense.usa.com, which is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Louisville coach Kenny Payne has officially named former Duke staffer Nolan Smith as assistant coach. It is Payne's first staff hire since becoming the Cardinals head coach nearly 3 weeks ago. Smith's hiring comes nearly a week since he informed the team of his departure after a season as assistant to Hall of Fame coach Mike Krzyzewski and 6 overall seasons with the Blue Devils. The ACC was well represented in the WNBA's 2022 draft last night. In total, 7 ACC players were taken, representing 7 different schools, with 2 different from each at Louisville and NC State. With the 17th selection in the second round, the Seattle Storm picked NC State center Alyssa Cunane. Her Wolfpack teammate, forward Kayla Jones, went 5 selections later to the Minnesota Lynx. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
A few sprinkles will be possible for today. It's not going to be a washout by any means, but if you do run into some rain, that will gradually move out quickly. Today's going to be another warm one. Highs will be in the upper 70s and the lower 80s. And by tonight, we're down into the 50s and the lower 60s. Tomorrow, look for highs in the low to mid 80s. Showers and thunderstorms will arrive again late Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's cloudy. We've had some rain a little bit this morning. May get some more before the weekend comes. Looks like Easter Sunday may be a little bit rainy, but Saturday, Friday and Saturday looks good. Right now we are at 56 degrees, according to Peter the meter reader, and we're looking forward to a great day here in the neighborhood. It's 8:30. You're listening to WCAB Rutherfordton, and we'll be back with the interview with Patsy Kirkland, candidate for clerk of court, in just a moment. Hey, bosses, listen to me. It's time to nominate your secretary or administrative assistant in the annual WCAB Secretary's Day promotion. Send her name and the company name to WCAB no later than April 25th. You can send it via fax to 828-287-7182 or email it to me, Jim Bishop, at nctv.com, or mail it to the Post Office Box 511 Rutherfordton 28139, or bring it by the studio at 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will be taking place during the morning show April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday, the 29th, and showered with flowers and gifts. She's counting on you, boss. Don't disappoint her.
If you could be somewhere that will serve you a hot dog, drinks, chips, free, and still give away free prizes, wouldn't you want to be there? Then you will want to be at NC Tractor on April the 16th for Customer Appreciation Day. The fun starts at 8 a.m. with Gilbert Carmona broadcasting his show live from NC Tractor. Come meet Gilbert in person at NC Tractor at 8 a.m. Then at 9, the WCAB crew will pick up the broadcast until noon with drawings for door prizes, caps to be given away, field Phil Sheehan and his team will be serving hot dogs. Phil says come on over Saturday, April the 16th for Customer Appreciation Day at NC Tractor, the home of Massey Ferguson, 509 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford.
And we're back in the Blue Room this morning. It's 8:31, and my guest today is Patsy Kirkland, who is a candidate for Clerk of Court. Patsy, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad you came by.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure to let folks know more about who the candidates are and why they're running and some of the things they want to talk about, so we're going to do that today.
Okay.
First of all, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your background.
I grew up in Franklin, North Carolina. If you don't know where that's at, it's about 2 hours west of here, a very small town. I'm married, been married for 28 years, and my husband is a retired game warden. So we transferred to Rutherford County with his job back in 2000. We have one daughter. She's now grown and married, but she was 3 years old when we moved here. So we raised her here. We've been active members of Second Baptist Church for over 20 years, and we really consider Rutherford County home.
What are the basic functions of a clerk of court?
Well, I thought you might ask me that, and I did print that off of the NC Court's website, but it is a big job. One big thing that people don't realize is that you're actually electing a judge. The clerk of court is the judge for several different areas, and I can read that if you think we have enough time.
Some of the highlights.
It's we are record keepers.
Okay.
We keep, of course, take in money from all kinds of different functions, whether it be a ticket all the way to a trust from a minor that we invest that trust money in. And then, like I said, the judge. We're the judge of probate. We handle all the foreclosure hearings, incompetency hearings. We appoint guardians. So it's a really big, important job that most people really have no clue what we do.
Does the clerk of court's office still handle visas? Passports?
No, we did up until COVID, and then when COVID hit, we got away from doing it. And I think they're taking the applications now at the library. So we're not doing that anymore.
When did you work in the clerk's office and for how long?
When I very first started, it was in 2000, and I worked for 3 years under Keith Melton. And our daughter was very young at the time. We did not have family here. We did not have a support system. My husband would walk in the door as I would walk out, vice versa, to take care of her. It got to where anybody that has a spouse in law enforcement knows that the schedule can be absolutely crazy. So we decided that it was beneficial to us to put our family and our daughter first. So I quit work, was a stay-at-home mom for about 11 years. And then I went back to the clerk's office after about 11 years of being a mom, and I will never, ever regret that decision.
I don't blame you for that. Now, you went back to the clerk's office here in Rutherford?
Yes, I did.
When did you leave again?
In 2014, I went back to the clerk's office, and then there was a period of time that my husband promoted. I worked in a clerk's office in another county, and then we moved back to Rutherford County when he retired. So it started back up in 2014, and then I quit in November when I announced my candidacy.
You've been campaigning hard across the county. I see you everywhere. What have you learned about the county that you didn't know already?
Well, I knew Rutherford County was big, but I did not realize how big. It's huge when you go to try to put signs from one end to the other. But I have met so many nice people. So that has been a great benefit for me, that I've been able to get out and see parts of the county. My husband was game warden, so he, knew every inch of the county. So thank goodness I've had him to drive me around and help me. But, I've just really enjoyed meeting new people.
As you go out about across the county, meet a lot of folks, what are people saying about this particular race that you're involved with?
Well, like I said, a lot of people have no idea what we even do, and they don't realize how big of a job it is. But I hear constantly that we need change. Some people, I run into people that have had a bad experience in the clerk's office, and then the majority of the people have never even had a reason to go to the clerk's office. But the comment that I get the most is that we need a change from the top to the bottom.
Is the clerk's office overstaffed, understaffed, or just about right in personnel?
We have the amount of employees that the state has allowed. We have 20 employees, but the structure of the office, I don't believe is the way that it needs to be. The current administration does not have a supervisor in each department. The clerk's office has 4 different departments. These supervisor positions are already in the allotment for positions that the state allows, but they're just not being utilized. We have 1 clerk that is the supervisor over 3 different departments. This has never been the case with any prior administration. Any other administration I've ever worked under, we had a supervisor in each department. And what I'd like to stress is that I'm not trying to micromanage, but these are positions that are needed. And the employees actually want those supervisors in those departments. It would really help the structure of the office to run the way that it needs to run.
How much contact does the clerk of court have with the judges, the Superior Court judges and the District Court judges? How much contact do you actually have with them?
Some, but unless there's a problem that needs to be addressed, I mean, they have secretaries that handle the scheduling of the calendar of the calendar of the different types of court and that type of thing. So I would probably have more contact with their administrative assistants than the actual judges. But of course, they're in the clerk's office constantly, and we're, the current clerk is talking to them when they come through. But as far as how much one-on-one contact, I'm not sure, that's on a regular basis.
What makes you a better candidate for clerk of court than your opponent?
Well, I believe I have worked in every position in the clerk's office, and every position requires training. So I have that background knowledge of each position to be able to know how that one job is supposed to work. As clerk and assistant clerks, we have deputy clerks under us. So there's things that a deputy clerk can't sign, so they'll bring it to an assistant or the clerk. I have the background knowledge to know that what I'm signing is okay to sign. Also, I've worked in there, and I've seen areas that just really need change to be able to make the office work more efficient, and just to get the office back to where it's beneficial to the public and all the agencies that work with our office.
I've heard over the years, I think Keith Melton even said this sometime back when he was clerk of court, that oftentimes a clerk is called in the middle of the night by a deputy or needing something. How does that work? What's the reason for that? He might need to come out and get a warrant or something. I don't know what he said. He said sometimes the clerk's office or the clerk is called in the middle of the night by a deputy to have to respond to something. Do you have any idea what that's about? I don't know either.
I'm not really sure. I know the clerk exercises the same powers as a magistrate when taking waivers of trial and pleas of minor offenses, and we also have the authority to issue arrest and search warrants.
That probably.
So it could be that there's no one else that can issue those search warrants at that time, so they're going to call.
Yeah,
the clerk.
I remember him saying several times in the middle of the night they'd call him. He'd go by his house and he'd go make arrangements for that to happen. I thought, oh boy,
yeah,
in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes.
you're ready for that if that happens.
I am ready. I don't claim to know everything. There's going to be things that I've got to learn. I'm going to have a learning curve just like every new clerk that goes in. But I do feel like I have a good foundation of knowledge to hit the ground running. And I've already got plans in place that if I'm elected, I won't actually go to a clerk class until maybe a couple months after I take office. Mm-hmm. So I plan to get with a nearby county clerk and try to shadow them. I want to get with the people in Raleigh that do all of the leadership training to see if there's anything I can get online, just to make sure that I'm ready to go with, picking up where he leaves off as far as hearings and just everything I'm going to need to know.
If elected to this office, what changes will you be making in the clerk's office?
Well, the number one thing, like I've already addressed, is we're going to get supervision back in each department. And then we are going to have an office policy that will be enforced. We will go by state standards when there's a problem. We are going to cross-train employees. That is a campaign promise that has not been fulfilled. There's jobs in the clerk's office that only one clerk knows how to do. the public and all agencies suffer from that when they come in and that clerk that knows how to do it is not there. We've got to get cross-trained from the top all the way to the bottom. I want to gain all the knowledge I can, but I also want to share that knowledge. I could get sick. If we've learned anything over the last 2 years with COVID is you better have a plan B, because people can get sick and they may or may not come back to work. So we've got to make sure we have a backup. Another thing is I would like to meet with all the agencies that deal with our office, from probation to just everybody, and see what problems they have run into in the past and how we can make it better for everyone involved. I would like to do a presentation regarding estate filings for bank representatives. I mentioned this to the current administration and I really didn't get very far, but I've already talked to a couple of the local banks to see if this would be something that would be beneficial for them, and they are all for it. Estates is a very complicated matter. It can be very complicated between the estate representative and the banks. So I can't give legal advice, and of course I'd have to clear all this through the administrative office of the courts to see if I could even do this type of presentation. But I would just be showing the banks the different forms that they may see. There's several different types of estates, and they're going to see several different kinds of forms that gives that person this type of authority in one and not as much authority in another. Like I said, no legal advice, but hopefully could help that process be a little bit more smooth.
What kind of relationship or interaction does the clerk's office have with, say, the DA's office or the county commissioners or people like that?
The county commissioners, we would have a relationship there to be able to, if there's going to be any changes made to the courthouse or whatnot, of course we would want to be in on that to see how it would be beneficial, or maybe it wouldn't work for our office as far as any office space or anything like that. So I know that I would need to be in contact with the county commissioners as far as the building goes. And the DA's office, I mean, we have a good bit of contact with the DA's office and the judges' offices and public defender's office. So you have to have a good working relationship with those offices and be able to, that's another office, I want to talk with them to see if there might be things that we could tweak, that we can work together to try to help the public be able to take care of issues maybe outside of court on minor traffic violations and that kind of thing. But it's going to take all of us working together.
There's probably a whole lot more questions we could ask, but I'm going to end this conversation. But we always give the candidate the last word to say to our audience what you'd like to know about you that we didn't discuss. So it's your time now to.
I would just like to say that, like I said before, I don't claim to know everything, but I promise to be a hardworking, honest, knowledgeable clerk for all the citizens of Rutherford County. And I'm asking for your vote in May. Primary is huge, and please come out and vote in the primary election. Early voting starts on April the 28th, and then Election Day is May 17th. So, I'm not a politician. And if I have someone to come to me as clerk with a question that I don't know the answer to, I'm not going to make up some kind of politician-style answer to make myself look good or to say what that person wants to hear. I'll research, and I'll find out the answer to their question, and I'll always be upfront and honest, and I will always stand for what's right.
Patsy Kirkland, candidate for clerk of court on the Republican ticket, up subject to the primary. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm sure we'll cross paths again before the election because you're out about quite a bit.
Thank you. Appreciate
I'll be
it.
back in just a moment.
The best of both worlds. WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Playing the classic oldies.
8:45 here on this Tuesday morning, terrific Tuesday morning. Remember, bosses, we're getting you in step with your secretary or your administrator or your office manager, whatever you call that person that does a lot of the work for you. We need to recognize them with honor. So if you'll nominate them and get the names sent in to us, we'll have a drawing for all those names that are sent in, and then we'll take them to lunch on that Friday the 29th. And we'll have a lot of gifts for them, some flowers and all kinds of things. So we'll recognize them for you. They'll know you'll appreciate them by nominating them to that. So all you got to do is just send their name to us. Either you can send it via fax machine if you want to do that, 287-7182. We'd like to have their name in the company that they represent, of course. Or you can send it to my email address at jimbishop@nctv.com. Or mail it to Post Office Box 511, Rutherfordton, 28139. I'll bring it by WCAB 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will take place on the morning show, April 27th, and the selected 10 then will go to lunch with me on Friday the 29th, along with Tracy and Lou, and we'll have a good lunch, and we'll shower the ladies with some gifts and flowers, and she'll be appreciative of you for nominating her, boss, and we certainly would like to represent you and help do that to make that great. All right, let's see. We got coming up on Thursday, the current clerk of court, Steve Owens, will be in the blue room. He'll be talking about his candidacy for re-election. He'll be talking about that. And then we have several coming after that. Then next week, it'll be the sheriff's races. Aaron Ellenberg scheduled for Tuesday, April the 19th. And Theo will be scheduled for the 21st in the blue room. And then we'll move into the school board. And some of them have not responded, but one of them said he could not be here, and Ramona Smith has confirmed she will be here on the 26th, I believe it is. And then Brandy Nanny said she would be here on the 28th. Have not heard anything from Jeremy Suits nor Julie Fincher. Neither of those two have responded. So we'll, if we don't have anybody responding on those 2 days, we'll do our. I've been asked why. Excuse me, this allergy thing is really getting to my voice this morning. But I've been asked why we're not doing the DA's race and the House's and the Senate race. Well, we just ran out of time, basically, to be honest with you. With the limited number of dates that we have open, we try to schedule, and the primary is as close as it is. So we had to have an equal amount of time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We allowed that way. It started back a week or so ago and working it right up too close to the election time. And there was not enough Tuesdays and Thursdays to be equal and fair to everybody for the DH race or the House races. And there are some of those that are getting excited as well. And if you get to some of the forums, you'll recognize who these people are. And I know that you'll be glad to be a part of that. Best thing is to learn who they are and why they want to run, and if they would represent you the best of the others. There's some competitiveness going on in the DH race, competitiveness going on in the sheriff's race, and even on the school board races. That seems to be the most interesting one this year. A lot of folks came out to run for school board, and I think that is because people are concerned about their kids, and they're concerned about what might be being taught in the classes. So they want to be a part of that. So that's why I think that's happening. We've heard from, we've heard from Mike Benfield running for county commissioner re-election. We've heard from Alan Toney. His opponent did not come. She sent word that she could not come due to another commitment on that same time. And we were not flexible enough to be able to change that around. Jason Toney, who's running for Mike Benfield, just didn't respond to us at all. He didn't call, say he would or would not come. And Darren Joyner, who's running for school board, is in class teaching during that time, and he could not get out of the classroom to come, so he has sent his regrets in to us. And the others, like I mentioned, looks like, Brandy Nanny, we have not heard from her yet. She's May the 3rd. And April Mays, we have heard from. She'll be May the 5th. Then Jeremy Suits and Julie Fisher, we have not heard from. So we'll see if the others want to participate in this whatsoever. If not, then that'll be fine. We'll always have plans to cover something else with it. Meanwhile, let's see. We got to make room for My Great America now with Jim and Butch coming up at 9:05. should be an interesting program today. If the old voice here is going to hold out during this pollen intake. But we'll see what takes place, and we'll meanwhile we'll do this, and then we'll get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch.
The music's on us. WCAB.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Inflation soaring over the past year. The numbers this hour released by the Labor Department. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The invasion of Ukraine, supply chain disruptions, and post-pandemic consumer demand have all combined to drive up inflation 8.5% over the last year, the biggest annual increase since December 1981. On a monthly basis, inflation was up 1.2% in March from the prior month. Gas prices are near record highs, and food prices are making family grocery bills higher. Wages have been higher too, but not by enough to offset the more expensive prices we're paying for nearly everything. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
President Biden traveling to Iowa today to announce a plan to allow the year-round sale of gasoline made with ethanol, a less expensive blend usually banned in the summer months because of pollution. The move, another attempt to ease gas prices, which, says ABC's Alex Stone, are finally going down somewhat.
New numbers out from the Energy Department report in the past week the average price of regular unleaded went down 8 cents to $4.09 a gallon. Yeah, still expensive, but better than it was. And Californians have seen a 10-cent drop in the past week, but the average price of regular unleaded in California remains at $5.61 a gallon.
In Ukraine, they are bracing for a new, even more violent Russian offensive in the eastern part of the country, where officials say weeks of attacks have left tens of thousands dead in Mariupol.
The mayor of the city has claimed Russian forces have brought in mobile crematoria to dispose of the bodies and accused Russian forces of refusing to allow access to humanitarian convoys in an attempt to disguise the carnage.
ABC's James Longman in Kyiv. There are accusations that the Russians have also used chemical weapons in Mariupol. Just now announced from 10 Downing Street, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Chancellor Rishi Sunak will be issued fines for breaches of COVID regulations during Britain's lockdown in 2020. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Oil keeps going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that can potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. The U.S. government needs your investment in oil and is allowing you to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel. Call 800-278-7455. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 800-278-7455. You'll be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 800-278-7455.
France has kicked out half a dozen Russian diplomats, accusing them of spying. ABC's Inez de la Cuetara.
France's foreign ministry saying in a statement that following a very long investigation, French intelligence officials found 6 Russian agents had been operating in France under diplomatic cover. The statement says the agents' activities proved contrary to France's national interests. They have been declared persona non grata. No additional details were provided. This comes as a number of EU countries have been expelling Russian diplomats. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Paris.
USC is now suing a pair of YouTubers over pranks filmed for their channels. In both cases, the performers barged into classes, and the school says they created a panic. The LA Times says a judge has issued a temporary restraining order banning the two from the University of Southern California's downtown LA campus. On strike on Etsy, thousands of vendors upset over a boost in fees from the selling platform, pulling their online stores down this week in protest. Christy Cassidy makes wedding dresses and tells ABC News there are several fees, including transaction fees and payment processing fees.
In addition to that, there's also listing fees that are like your flat fees that you pay to sell on Etsy. And then the other thing called off-site ads fee, and that can be 12%, but it's completely random.
Etsy says it needs to raise commission on sales so it can make improvements to the platform. This is ABC News.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 5/28. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
A few sprinkles will be possible for today. It's not going to be a washout by any means, but if you do run into some rain, that will gradually move out quickly. Today's going to be another warm one. Highs will be in the upper 70s and the lower 80s. And by tonight, we're down into the 50s and the lower 60s. Tomorrow, look for highs in the low to mid 80s. Showers and thunderstorms will arrive again late Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now it's 58 degrees here at WCAB, cloudy skies, and we've had some rain earlier this morning and may get some more before it's all over with. But we'll see what happens. We'll follow that weather. You be sure to stay tuned. Lock it in, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, serving the foothills of the Carolinas.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch.
Good morning, Jim. How are you this morning?
I feel great. A little stuff up, but I'm feeling great.
You know what? I've had a little thing that hit me too, but you know what helps?
What?
It helps for me to take my Claritin, but you know what helps more?
What?
Prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my church last night, I got strong prayer from some people, and I'm feeling a lot better. And we know that prayer is not just uttering words. It's communicating with the God of the universe who made all things. And I've had a couple of people that asked about, Butch, why do you put this plant here? And somehow, Jim, it just feels like it's a nice little botanical accoutrement right here on the edge of our table.
Easy for you to say.
What's
easy for you to say?
Well, I love plants, and you know what I love is down there at the Main Street Coffee and Ice Cream Place, right there on Main Street.
Sure.
There is a woman who will, I guess, go to like hospice, thrift store, or whatever, and get containers, and then she will put plants in there, and I purchased those plants to give away. I love that. I love that. Hannah's Coffee Shop, also in Cleveland County, which is one coffee shop of the year there in the Shelby Star. They also have someone that does the same thing. So I love to get plants, and I bring them here to WCAB too.
They look good. I like those. Are those the kind that sort of refreshes the air too and helps you?
You know, I don't know all of the scientific details, but I think it's healthy to have them. It's also an encouragement, and it's a reminder that the God of the universe didn't make a monochromatic world. He could have made everything in black and white. Could have had one fish, one dog, but no, or one sex. But no, he made a colorful, beautiful world, and we're entrusted with the responsibility to take care of it.
And you looked at it and said, "This is good."
He said, "This is good," and that's why we don't need or want people to try to redefine or recreate human beings.
No.
Or to do anything other than what God's told us in His Word. He's told us to be prudent, but He's also told us that the prudent person plans. And speaking of planning, Jim, I just have to say this, and I said it before we came on the air. I don't want to emulate your favorite Southern Baptist preachers, but I've got some preach in me this morning.
Preach. I'll take up offering after you get through.
Well, we don't need to do that, but I will tell you this. We are well underway and in the thick of all the campaigning for local officials, for different offices. Jim, I followed your pattern. I still am on this. I've watched you in a lot of ways. And because you're somebody that has been a stable, contributing force in Rutherford County for decades. And there's a lot that I'm learning from you. And one of the things that I've noticed that you do is that you meet with all the candidates. And you give them the opportunity, if they take advantage of it, and shame on them if they don't, you give them the opportunity to come and share why they ought to be in a particular position. So I have taken the opportunity to meet with as many of the candidates as are willing, because I want to hear firsthand from them. And then when I go to vote, I'm going to say, living God, who should I vote for? And God will tell me. God will put it on my heart. It's not the whims or the rumors or whatever, but I have to tell you, I have been very, very distressed and grieved by how easily, and if it's you and you're listening, please take this to heart. It's said with love, but with a firmness. how easily some people are and reckless in putting things out there that they have no support for, and in many cases it comes to be shown that it's not true.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you a quick story because this really comes close to home. When I was in the middle of a divorce that was unexpected and was just tragic on so many different levels after going on a quarter century of being married, I was staying in a residence inn in Colorado Springs, and one night, that was during that year of separation before the divorce goes through, and one night I received a phone call, and it was from a detective with the Colorado Springs Police Department, and he said, "Is this Mr. Malpe?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you own a gun?" And I said, "No, I don't anymore. I don't own a gun." He said, "Well, there have been credible threats against your wife's life, and you are a prime suspect." And you can imagine how that felt. And there had apparently been some SMS messages, text messages, that were sent to my former wife. And the messages said, "I know where you're going for dinner tonight. I know who you're having dinner with, and I'm coming to get you." Well, to make a long story short, because it relates to this whole issue of false accusations, it took a couple of days for them to determine who it was that did that. In the meantime, there were some people that felt the need to push out emails all over the country saying, "Butch has come unhinged and he's coming after me." And people took that on as truth. And for 2 days, I'd go into a grocery store and people would come up and say, "Hey, Butch, I heard about, you know what, are you okay?" Well, the long and short of it is that rumor reverberated all through Colorado Springs and elsewhere. About 3 days later, I had a call from that same detective, and he said, "We found out who sent those text messages. It was a ninth grade boy that was a friend of your daughter's, and he heard your daughter making comments about her mom, and he wanted to impress her, and so he sent those text messages." Well, you know what had happened? The damage was already done.
Yeah.
The damage was already done. Now, I use that as a personal illustration to say, if you're somebody that's picking up the fire hose and you were just spraying Rutherford County with rumors about any of the candidates, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop right now. And if you won't stop because it's the right thing to do, listen to what God says. This is Proverbs chapter 6, 16 to 19. You know, it's important to know things God hates.
Yes.
There are very few places in the scripture where it says God hates this in the way that I'm going to share right now. Proverbs 6, verse 16 to 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates. Indeed, 7 are repulsive to him. A proud look, the attitude that makes one overestimate oneself and discount others, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that creates wicked plans, feet that run swiftly to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, even half-truths, and one who spreads discord, rumors among the brothers. God hates those things. We should take that and keep that very close to our hearts as we head into the last 4 or 5 weeks of the campaigning that's taking place. It's not just Butch's opinion. It's not Jim's opinion. It's God Almighty who's saying these are things that I hate. And Jim, we need to take that to heart, don't we?
That spells that pretty plain, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty plain. You can't argue with, I don't understand what that means. That's exactly what it means.
It's very direct, and that's the amplified version. It doesn't matter if it's the NIV, the KJV, whatever version of the Bible. God makes it very clear. And so for those of you that are trafficking in lies, half-truths, rumors, and are recklessly, like a wrecking ball, running through the china shop of people's lives and reputations, you need to stop.
And unfortunately, we see so much of that during political time. A lot of folks against their opponent, they're saying things that are not true. If we did a fact-checking machine, we could fact-check a lot of those, but we
right.
can't. But it's sad that we have to come to that point of saying things that are not true about our opponent and find out who they are. Ask the questions. If you don't, well, you know, same kind of thing, if I may refer to your church, same kind of thing with your church. People are saying things about your church that absolutely are not true because they heard somebody else say it. so they're passing it on. And I said to them, why don't you find out about it? Ask somebody in the church that knows rather than somebody who's disgruntled.
Exactly.
Every church can have a disgruntled member that's going to talk about it.
Exactly. And, Patsy Kirkland was on, and, of course, you had another one of these wonderful interviews that you've offered to all the candidates, regardless of political party affiliation, history, or whether you know them or not. And, before she came in here, Jim, it was just so grievous, although we've learned to live above it. And I don't get stirred by it because we're called, it says in Scripture, do good to those who despitefully use you. We can't do that unless the Spirit of the living God is in us. But I asked Patsy, tell me about your campaigning. And she said, well, when I go door to door, it's not unusual for me to get the question, do you attend Word of Faith Fellowship? And I thought, how sad. But you know what? We're going to confront things with truth. I'm going to say this again. If you're somebody that traffics in this kind of misinformation and lies, listen, I don't think I'm saying this with humility, I don't think there's another person who's consulted closely and traveled with Billy Graham that's in our county. I have. Or Charles Stanley, or David Jeremiah, or Jack Graham at Prestonwood Baptist Church, or the American Bible Society. So I don't come from here, but God brought me here 4 years and 4 months ago and changed my life. And my community of faith has been God's instrument to do that. My pastor, Jane Whaley, has been the most profoundly influential spiritual influence in my life. And that's against the backdrop of saying with humility, I've worked with major Christian leaders around the world. So if you have a question, you have a problem, or you're trafficking in untruth, call me, 828-755-5141. I've never given out my cell phone number on a radio program before, and I just did. Now listen, Bud comes in and he brings spreadsheets, and I know he listens to our program.
He does.
Tell him which Bud I'm referring to.
Bud Byers, our good friend over in Ellenboro.
Right, and tell us why he's iconic, Jim, in a nutshell.
He's iconic for several reasons. One of them is he's a long-term truck driver, retired truck driver. I mean, how many thousands of miles?
More than 5 million miles and no reportable accidents.
Wow, that's fantastic. Plus, he's been involved in the Republican Party for years, and his favorite thing is to know the statistics of who voted, how they voted, not necessarily who, but the numbers of registration changes from Democrat to Republican to unaffiliated. He studies that every day. He gets a new printout about every week, and he shares that with me. And we've talked about that over the years. And as we've said on time to time, some of these precincts that are still have Democrats over Republicans, it's like a faucet. It's a slow drip. One of these days,
I'm just telling you right now, the Grim Reaper is coming. He's going to wear you down until every precinct is Republican. Well, I want to make sure, and this is not in a gratuitous way, I want to make sure that I give respect for some of his work. His most recent report shows that in our county, we have 11,196 registered Democrats, 19,446 registered Republicans, 242 registered Libertarians, and 14,950 who are unaffiliated. That unaffiliated group, they're the kingmakers.
They are.
Aren't they, Jim?
They sure are. They're going to make a difference in this election, too.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
So today is April 12th, right?
It is.
Two notable things happened that were in the religious realm on April 12th. April 12th, 1914, a convention in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Jim, founded the Assemblies of God. And the Assembly of God would become the world's largest Pentecostal denomination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The other thing that happened on April 12th in 1944, this comes closer to home with WCAB. The National Religious Broadcasters Association was founded in Columbus, Ohio. You know why? To represent and build the credibility of evangelical Christian broadcasters after a set of regulations proposed by the Federal Council of Churches banned paid religious programming and limited broadcast personalities to denominationally approved evangelicals, effectively removing all evangelicals from the airwaves. So to combat that, the National Religious Broadcasters was founded April 12th, 1944. And I've gone to the NRB convention many times, spoken there through the years, and getting a hold of maybe going back. It's typically at the Opryland Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, Jim, I want to talk in the balance of our time about truth.
Okay.
And how important truth is. Did you ever get in trouble for telling a lie?
I did. That is a child, yeah.
I did too. I've told the story about my mother was essentially the father and the mother for a lot of reasons in my home, and she gave no room at all for untruth, none. And I've told the story about going to it was a five and dime kind of store. That's what they used to call them. And you remember those bubble gums that would come in cellophane that would be long?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I took one of those and I rolled it up and put it in my pocket to walk out the door with it. She saw it, walked me back in, called over the store manager, and had me confess my sin to him. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. I also remember a time where she had made a lemon meringue pie. We were always having the missionaries come and stay with us. We were always having visiting pastors, preachers, and evangelists come over for Sunday lunch. My mother was just, she was like a facilitator of our church and the folks coming in and out of town. And one time she made this lemon meringue pie, and there were 4 siblings, Kim, Butch, Mark, and Becky, my older sister. And I don't know about the theological basis for this, but this is a true story, and I'm sharing it now. It shows you how profound it was in my life. Somebody went in and took a little piece with their finger out of that lemon meringue pie. And my mother lined all of us up, and she said, who did it? And she went down the line, oldest to youngest. Becky, did you do it? No. Butch, did you do it? No. Kim, did you do it? No. Mark, did you do it? No. We were probably 11, 10, 6, and 5. So my mom said, well, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pray. I'm going to ask God to show who it was that took it and is lying. She prayed, and then she cut a piece of that pie, a little slice of that pie, lemon meringue pie for each of us. She said, I want you to take a bite, and I've asked God to have the person that's lying choke. And Jim, I remember picking up my fork. I hadn't done it, and my fork was kind of moving like this because she put the fear of God in us. And lo and behold, my sister Becky took one bite, and she started to cough. And so it was her. So that's how I was raised, Jim. I was raised. That's a true story. And again, I don't want anybody with the Department of Social Services to be listening and say that's not right. But listen to what Franklin Roosevelt said. Repetition does not transform a lie into truth. A lot of people just say a lie over and over again, and they think it somehow makes it truth. It doesn't. Or James Garfield. We don't hear a lot about him as a president. The truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. I thought that was good. Or how about John Quincy Adams, who once wrote, all men profess honesty as long as they can. To believe all men honest would be folly. To believe none so is something worse. That's wise words. How about Grover Cleveland? We don't hear about him much. I would rather the man who presents something for my consideration subject me to a zephyr of truth and a gentle breeze of responsibility rather than blow me down with a curtain of hot air. Isn't that good?
I like that.
I like that a lot. Or listen to Gerald Ford. You know what? He was an undervalued president. He stepped into an absolute mess with the resignation of Richard Nixon. Listen to what he once said. Tell the truth, work hard, and come to dinner on time. Isn't that great? Or finally, Andrew Johnson. He said, honest conviction is my courage. The Constitution is my guide. You know what? We have a lot of folks that are bubbling up out of the sewage of this woke movement. And you know what's happened? We have forgotten the anchoring pins and points and pillars of our society. You know, America was founded, I'm going to say it again, on biblical principles. Listen to this if you've forgotten our history. While most historians do not limit the Founding Fathers to the 55 delegates to the Constitutional Convention, this core group of men represented the religious sentiments of those who shaped everything about our nation. As a matter of public confirmed record, the delegates included 28 Episcopalians, 8 Presbyterians, 7 Congregationalists, 2 Lutherans, 2 Dutch Reformed, 2 Methodists, 2 Roman Catholics, 1 unknown, and 3 deists. 3. Those are those who believe in an impersonal God who gave the world the initial impetus but then left it to run its own course. A full 93% of its members were Christian church members, and all were deeply influenced by a biblical view of mankind and government. Here's another way. Even a brief study of the founders' last wills and testaments provides convincing declarations of most of them having strong religious beliefs among all of the leaders that we would call the icons of our country. Add to this their personal writings concerning their faith, and what becomes clear is our country was founded on biblical principles. So all of these folks that are trying to wake us up to untruth need to go back to our history. It's as simple as going to original sources. And if you want to know truth for candidates for the upcoming election, go ask them. Go to the original source. If you want to know truth about our country, go to the Library of Congress. Do what I've done before. Research original documents. Don't take a book or a social media post as the gospel, knowing full well that who is the grand deceiver? Who is the great deceiver? Who can only do lies as part of their modus operandi? Satan. He's the grand accuser, and he's the great deceiver. And once we come to recognize that, Jim, it'll bring us to a place where we say, God, all I want is truth. Truth will set us free.
Yeah. You talk about a college professor, he said it kiddingly, but when somebody would make a mistake, particularly he picked on the females in the class, and make a mistake, he said, it all started in the Garden of Eden. Well, the untruth, the lies started in the Garden of Eden as well. That's where it started.
Right. Satan came and said, did God really say? So all of the wreckage that we have in the world today came from original sin, and the original sin was doubting the authoritative Word of God and His commands. And each and every day we're given the opportunity to say yes to God's commands. If you're not in your Bible, bungee jump into it. You will find help and hope and healing there. Jim, real quickly as we end, our time goes so quickly.
Fast as on in a hurry.
Especially when I talk so much. But in any event, I just wanted to say how encouraged we were by the article on FreightWorks in the Daily Courier. For those of you that can't see this, I'm so happy to be able to wear. I've never worn something with a patch before, like this. No,
it's very impressive.
No, it's life by the mile. If you're interested in stories about what some have called, like Bud Byers has called, the last American cowboys, the story of the 3.5 million truckers in America, go to lifebythemile.com. We've got a twice-a-week podcast that's there. There was a great article in the Daily Courier talking about FreightWorks and its purchase of new Peterbilts as part of the fleet upgrade. You're going to be hearing more in the days ahead about this great local company, fast-growing, already a transportation and logistics behemoth here in western North Carolina, and there's going to be some great stories that we'll be sharing in the days ahead about them, Jim. And I wanted to say this real quickly as we end. Bob Van Camp, who is a dear friend and a driver, an over-the-road, coast-to-coast driver, told me at church that he's ready to cover the cost of gas so that you and I can take a trip together in one of those new Peterbilts, maybe to Gastonia and back.
Hey, that'd be great.
So we'll be able to do that sometime in the months ahead here, and I'll look forward to it. And Jim, it'll just be another example of trying to take my great America, our great America, Rutherford County's great America, and bring it to the listeners from a remote kind of way.
I think that's exciting. I look forward to that, and I appreciate him being willing to let me on the truck.
And the three of us on that truck, Jim, we'll get some pictures and we'll share some of that. That'll be good. Now listen, on Thursday and Tuesday of next week, I'll be up in Pennsylvania. You can be holding us in prayer if you're a person of prayer. My mother, coming out of COVID a couple of months ago, has dealt with some lung stuff, and so they did some scans and found out she's got double pneumonia. She turns 90 in July, so I'm going up there to help her out some. So I'll be gone for a little less than a week, but I'll be calling in. We'll have a surprise guest. I'm not going to share who it is on Tuesday of next week. I'm still working on some of the details, but I'll be calling from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Amish country. Those of you that have been long-term listeners since the beginning know that often I'll call in from there. So on this Thursday and Tuesday, I'll be calling in remotely.
Well, I hope you have a safe trip, and tell your mom I said hello. We've had her on the program, haven't we?
Right, and also, right. And you know what? I have to say this. I know she does a great job. I also know she speaks the truth in an unabashed way. And truth be told, I sat there and said, God, I don't know what she's going to say in the next few minutes, but I know it's going to be good. So anyway, I'll be calling in on Thursday and Tuesday. But in the meantime, get a hold of God's Word. It's where you're going to find a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. And as you do that, your life will be the one that He's called you to live. It's a great country when we become great people, and we're not great on our own. We're only great when the Spirit of the living God, by being born again, lives through us.
The truth shall set you free.
The truth will set us free.
God bless America.
God bless America, Jim.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.